up, everybody? So we're out in the shop with the next build series, which is going to be this canister setup right here. Now, I'm excited about this one because I've wanted to do a canister build for a while, and hopefully this one's going to be simple enough that y'all feel like y'all can actually pull one of these off as well. So what I'm going to do in this episode is we're going to go over to the workbench, and I'm going to take this all apart and try and explain some of my thought process behind this and what is going to make this easier to be able to forge by hand versus, you know, having to have a press or something like that. This right here should be a pretty simple process. We'll see if it is or not. But let's go ahead, let's hop over to the bench and let's talk about this. Alright guys, so we have our billet right here. This is a 1 inch by 1 inch by 5 inch long square tube that we have here. We've got all of our layers inside there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to break this apart so you can see what we have in there. So let's go ahead and slide this out. You can see all the layers right there. So let's take this out. We've got our layer of copper. So that's the outer layer. And then we've got 4 strands of uncoated cable. Layer of copper. Layer of 15 and 20. Layer of copper. 4 strands of cable. Layer of copper. So there's a whole lot going into this. The layer of 15 and 20 is a thicker billet here. It's 3/16 of an inch thick. So it's a little bit thicker than the stuff that I've been using to do some of my other builds, because those layers of 15 and 20 were the same thickness of this, which is about a 1/16. So you can see it's quite a bit thicker there. That's primarily because I want this to be a piece that stays thicker, I guess you could say. So what I want to do is I want to break down my thought process behind this build. Now, Aaron over at ALeeKnives, he kind of sparked this build a little bit, because he did a build where he took his steel and drilled divots into it. So drilled divots into the steel, and then he put his layers of copper on there and melted the copper to the point to where it filled in those divots as he was forging it out. And that gave me the idea, because I've been thinking about doing something with cable for a while, and I thought, okay, I've got something cool in mind. And my goal is that after we put all this stuff together, so let's go ahead, let's put this back in here. So copper, our layers of cable, copper. Let's get everything lined up right. $15 and $20. Copper. Our layers of cable. And then before we get all those in there, we're going to go ahead and put our last piece of copper in and just kind of push it all together. It's nice and snug. So, the goal here is, you see we got, I'm going to push this out a little bit. We got our copper on either side of the cable, on both top and bottom, and then our 15 and 20 in the center. So the goal is, you know, we're going to weld on a cap to the end here, a cap to the end here, and whenever we heat this up, we're going to heat it to steel forge welding temps. So it's going to be in that over 2,000 degrees. Well, this melts at that point. The copper does. So we're going to actually melt the copper and let it coat all of this cable. So as we're forging it down, it's going to go in between all those little strands and fill in any nook and cranny, any gap that's in there. And I'm hoping that whenever we do that, whenever you forge this out, it's going to go ahead and like I said, fill in all of these areas, but these strands, these cables run parallel to the steel, so they should be on the outside edge of the blade as we forge this out. And I say the outside edge, just the outside. The blade will still, the 15 and 20 will still be the edge. But I'm hoping that, like I said, this will all melt, fill in all those nooks and crannies as we forge this out, and it will give it a real cool look whenever we start grinding in our bevels. This is purely experimental. I don't know if this is going to work. It might not, but I have a good idea that it will. I don't know just yet, but that is the whole thought process behind this. Now, of course, the goal here is to make sure that we keep everything centered and keep everything where it needs to be. What I've seen with some of the canisters is whenever you start forging it down, which I'm going to be primarily forging just on the sides right here, not so much on this side. It's going to be primarily just thinning this out, and one of my goals is to make sure that it all forges pretty evenly. So I'll have to every once in a while hit on the other side, primarily because what I don't want to have happen is everything start compressing and then this can bow out a little bit right here on either side and let these cables come down onto the edge here. I want all of this to forge pretty uniform all the way together. So it's going to be a interesting thing trying to make sure that the cables stay where they're going to be and keep everything to where it forges together nicely. So I've got some things to worry about there, because I won't be able to see if it's done that until after I remove the can. Now, the cool thing about this can is I didn't go with the super thick one. I wanted something that could easily be ground off, because I do not plan on trying to peel this can off. I'm going to be forging this out, and I'm going to be grinding a lot of this off on the sides. So that is the goal, at least. It's purely experimental. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, well, that sucks. But we'll see how it goes. Now, I'm going to go ahead and bring y'all back up for a second. The goal here is to try something that I really haven't seen, and I think that this is going to work. I think that we're going to have a successful build here. But I'm excited about trying this because I wanted to push myself. You know, we had the Kumai build, and that turned out absolutely awesome. And I think that this is going to be that as well. But I'm interested to see what y'all think. Y'all think that I'm biting off more than I can chew? Do y'all think that I'm a little over my head in this? Or that I'm just absolutely doing the wrong process? I want to know what y'all think. So go down in the comment section and tell me what y'all think about this process. And am I going to have a successful build or a not successful build? I want to know what y'all think. Because again, I'm just hoping that this works. You know? And sometimes that's what you have to do. Sometimes you just have to push yourself to try something a little different. And that was the goal with this one. Now, okay, one of the things that I want to talk about, for one, typically what I would be doing with this build is I would be showing y'all all of this, and then on Sunday, y'all would get the video of me forging it out. Because that's typically how the progression of these videos go. I tell y'all what we're going to be building, and then I start building it. Now, I'm not going to be releasing the video of me forging this on Sunday, primarily because I will not be able to forge it because the temperatures are going to be ridiculously cold for the next few days. And I don't want to risk having a bad forge weld or a bad forging experience because I wasn't in optimal conditions with my anvil not being ridiculously cold. You can ask Aaron about that. I mean, that was one of the reasons why he did a Gomai build that turned into kind of a Sandmai build, because that anvil, if you don't have it warmed up, if it's still really cold, you go to put your steel on it, you could be forge welding the top, but the bottom had all the heat sucked out of it from the anvil. So I don't want to risk that. The middle of the week, next week, is going to be a better, it's going to be better temperature. So we're going to go ahead and forge it out then. So y'all will have the forge video for this on next Friday. I don't know if I'm going to do a Sunday video or if I'm going to take this weekend off. I have not got a clue yet. I might do a bonus video for y'all. Who knows? I don't know. Guys, I'm excited about this build, and one of the things that I want y'all to have a takeaway from this is I want y'all to know sometimes you just got to push yourself. Sometimes you just got to go, I think this is going to work, and then you just try it. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, that's fine. Almost everything that's in here was stuff that I had in my shop already, so it's not like I'm sacrificing a bunch of steel that I ordered in to try and build this thing. Remember, my copper that's in here is from an old prison mirror that I cut up and everything to use the copper on. The cable is just some cable that I had. The square tube is square tube. I've got plenty of square tube. I mean, the 15 and 20, I've got a whole bunch of it already cut into pieces for other builds and all that stuff. So I was just able to kind of piece this together and go, all right, let's try it out. But one of the things I want y'all to also have a takeaway from is, just like I'm not going to forge weld this weekend, sometimes you have to be able to pause, take a breath, realize that you're not going to be in optimal conditions, and you don't want to waste material. You don't want to get so antsy that you have to go out there and you have to start forging it, because sometimes whenever you do that, you end up messing up and you end up deflating yourself, as opposed to just waiting a second, wait a couple of days, let things happen that need to happen, and then go out there, go ahead and forge it, and then you have a better chance at success, because that is going to inflate you. That's going to make you go, holy crap, I got this. I want to build some more things. So sometimes you have to pause and you have to, think about it, and then go ahead and go into the process. Don't rush yourself. I love making content for y'all. It would be really easy for me to go out there, light everything up, and start trying to forge this out and not end up with a very good forge weld or just a very good experience altogether. But I'm going to take a step back myself. I'm going to pause, take a breath, and I'm going to go ahead and forge it whenever I have the best chance. So, guys, again, I want to know what y'all think about this build. If y'all think, I'm in over my head, or y'all think I got this. What do y'all think? Y'all think that this is going to work? Do you think it's not going to work? I want to know. Let me know. Guys, if you haven't yet, give this video a thumbs up, because that's the end of this one. If you would, share this video or one of my other videos, and if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel, because we've got awesome stuff happening. We've got this, plus we've got some other stuff that's going to be coming up over the next couple of months that I think y'all are going to really like. Guys, thank y'all for coming by. Thank y'all for spending your time with me. Y'all have an amazing day. Y'all stay safe out there, and I will catch y'all next time.